Welcome to Algathar Academy. I am delighted that you received our invitation. The school is a touch behind schedule, but I have heard wondrous things about you.
New students? How wonderful. It has been quite some time since the academy has been open.
Indeed. Come with us. It should only take a moment to set up for a new lesson.
Please excuse the mess. It has been quite some time since students have been here. I'm just putting together my lesson plan. Here we are. Long ago, members of the Blue Dragonflight accidentally overloaded an arcane elemental and created a powerful construct named Veximus that quickly started to wreak havoc. The Blue Dragons battled Veximus fiercely, attempting to prevent it from absorbing stray arcane orbs that could allow it to grow further out of control. Veximus began manifesting powerful arcane. Though Veximus tried its best to defeat the dragons, it was ultimately destroyed. Well done! Since you did so well on your lesson, feel free to take something from that good student's reward chest.
These lashers must have grown wild while we were away. Please, if you could, clear them out while we rearrange the life magics of this place. about... Wait! Ichistras. There is too much life magic. What are you doing?
Me? There is too much nature. What are you doing?
What is that thing? This is your fault.
Absolutely not!
Please, help us, new students.
Look at this Lishrep arena. Wait, what are these birds doing here? Now we need to clear out the big one. I will activate the goals for Lishrep. That is talent toss for you soft skins. Use them to get her attention. Huh? At least we know that works. Watch yourselves.
Greetings, new. Who are you? You are not registered here. This room is only for students. Head to the registrar at once! These are sacred halls of learning. Only those registered may access them. Learn from this! Demerit points for you! You will not pass the semester!
Oh dear. It seems the parameters I wove into my out-of-office spell were a bit extreme. Thank you for...
some pretty face beside a train, and it's not easy to be me. I wish that I could cry, fall upon my knees, find a way to lie about a home I'll never see. It may sound absurd, but don't be naive. Even heroes have the right to bleed. I may be disturbed, but won't you concede? Even heroes have the right to dream, and it's not easy
Hello.
to be
Farewell.
me.
Safe travels. Have a good one.
Akal Hector, not for you. Come back sometime.
To reclaim our legacy, 3 aspects must restore the powers we relinquished to defeat Deathwind.
It's not easy to be.
What's this? Intruders here to take our riches, I bet! Have we found any riches? We've been digging down here so long, I can't even think straight.
No one steals from us. Time to teach.
I have a quiver full of swords, and I know how to throw them.
Did somebody order a skull kraken?
I've got you! Now then, party!
Puppies, then let them have it.
Time to move this!
Okay, we give up.
You know, I think that toss will actually help clear my head. Much obliged, stranger. We'll lend you a hand after we get our bearings. Roma, the chief here, gonna smash you! Get out here and smash him! No fair! Roma! Oh,
hollow place. Keeper Tyr's secrets will be protected!
Some kind of library. What now? All I see are books.
Maybe we can find a few treasure maps. We'll have a look while you go on ahead.
Activating additional defenses. Enemy marked. System shut down.
Look at all this stuff!
Heroes, you can keep searching for whatever it is you folks are after. Yeah, we're calling dibs on this room. Safe travels all.
What have we here? Alexstrasza's lapdogs, I suspect. I fear I will have to deny your queen her prize. The disc you seek will be mine.
I feel my wings have broken.
cannot allow that to happen. Now the disc is lost to time, just as you are about to be. In all timelines, you failed to stop me. Lost in the sands! Your efforts are impressive, but in vain. The timelines are converging. There will be only one aspect, and Murasana shall be infinite!
You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye.
I do for you? Be careful. See you around.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Safe travels. See you around. Be careful. Have a good one. Well met. Farewell.
Live as everything. Peace for you. Roma, act God.
I can't keep it all together. I can't keep it all together. There's a memory of a window looking through. I see you searching for something I could never give you. There's someone who understands you more than I do. Sadness I It's been my heart, yeah. I only know from down this slope. It's only up we go. Let's get on another flight. We set out.
travels. Have a good one. Safe travels. Farewell.
Nothing gives easy. Easy gives nothing. I'm just trying to keep income coming, and dawn is bound to break when the night is done. Always darker days before brighter ones. Brighter ready to go. It's been hard, nothing to show. It's only it's only up we go.
Need help? Have a good one. See you around. Be careful. Have a good one.
What can I do for you? Safe travels. Hey there.
imagining sequences, playing back visions by stereo and fragmenting emissions are lost and found in the loneliest thing in the shape of a fist that I wish I could bring in this bitter abyss is my petrified heart still bound in. Out on the balcony, reaching out to design this epiphany and what the sidewalks will do. And I just, in the process, it's the means to the end. It's the glass bottom vessel.
The Legion's end draws near. Blessed moment. Good fortune lie on this account. Favor the road traveling prince.
If I could, I'd cut through the cables and cords, but I'd never be able. My life's at the table with yours. Immortal. Nothing is sacred, nothing is straight anymore, except all that you are and stand for. Got me toward your portal, your portal.
Warm wishes to remember the lessons of the past. Be kind to those less fortunate. Do not lose faith. Good health, long life.
I think it's enough for though. I think I'm done playing the DeathKnight for tonight. She's level what? She's level 32? So this is Unholy DeathKnight. Never really played Unholy DeathKnight in well, I haven't played Unholy DeathKnight in a long time. Like it's been years and years and years since I played Unholy. It's okay. It's a little it's alright. It's a lot of I don't know. I mean, you just have to get up your Festering Strike, and then you use your Scourge Strike to knock off the counts of Festering Strike. You can use Apocalypse once you get up your Festering Strike and your Outbreak. You can use Apocalypse to, not Apocalypse, I'm sorry, Epidemic. To do damage to, like, mobs near, it's like a good nice AoE ability. Works pretty well, actually. Then the new ability I have here that I'm not, which is new to me, is Apocalypse, which basically summons a bunch of, for Army of the Undead. I'll show you how this works. I have to get enough. Let's see. Alright, so I can summon 4 other undeads on top of my 1 undead, so now I've got 5 undead. And let's see, Death Grip, Festering Strike, 3 charges, Festering Strike, and then Scourge Strike to burn off those charges. Chains of Ice, Death and Decay, turn my mob into a more powerful, using Dark Transformation. Outbreak. Now if we wanted to, we could do Epidemic, but it's more for multiple mobs. AoE. So let's see if we can get like some multiple mobs here. can do our AoE here. So it's hitting multiple mobs.
Everybody hurts sometimes everything is wrong.
So it's like your DK damage at low levels is like kind of in the middle of the road. It's like not bad, but it's not great. Compared with this other character that I've been leveling, it's the Devastation Evoker, which damage is completely off the banana zone chart. You can see the blood DK is doing 303 DPS per second at level 32. And let's see. So level 32, the DK doesn't even come close to the damage this Evoker can do. Watch. I'm doing 485 DPS. 900. You can see the Evoker does crazy DPS. It's like insane. It's too bad we can't. I mean, it's hard though. Like when I do PvP on the Evoker, I feel incredibly squishy. Like if someone gets on you, you only got the only defense you have is to basically let's see, is to use hover, which is just basically kind of to run away like this. You can just kind of not run into a wall, but kind of hover away. Or you can toss up your obsidian scales, but that only reduces damage by 30%, which really isn't that good. I mean, to me, like, if you want to really help the Evoker's survivability, especially at low levels, I think obsidian scales should be, you know, I'd put it up around 50% damage reduction. But their DPS is insane. It's just like, oh man. What other heal do I have? Let's see. We have this heal, but it doesn't really heal for much. Let's see. Throw a bulb in a certain location heals up to 3 people for 317 health, which, I mean, 317 health isn't a lot when I've got 2300. So that feels kind of weak. And then your living flame. There's a 1.8 second cast, which feels too slow for really useful healing in PvP. It's like if you're in the middle of combat, you can't just sit here and start casting living flame. It takes too long. It's not a bad heal though, 825. It's a pretty decent heal. But to make Devastation Evoker have more survivability, I definitely increase the damage reduction of obsidian scales. But the one thing I was watching the Arena World Championships today, and nobody was really using Devastation Evoker in the Arena World Championships, and the biggest reason is because your range is just too short. Like all your spell ranges are, like all of them I think are like 30 yards or 25 yards. Like look, 25 yards, 25 yards, you know, 25 yards, which is not very long. So in Arena, what happens is you just get LOS, or you just get ranged. People just say, well, you know, I know Devastation Evoker does a lot of damage, I'm just going to stay away from him. And then if you do get, oh, excuse me, if you get ranged, people are just going to CC you, because there's so much bloody CC in the game. Hi, Cyrus. kitty wants to lay in my lap. Nice, Cyrus. I gotta get to bed, Sai. You know what that means? It means you gotta get to bed. Huh? Hi, buddy. He's leaning up against my leg. You black boy. He's actually, I just figured this out last week that this cat is part Bombay. And let me show you what I mean. Like, I've got this black cat. I've had black cats a lot in my life. Actually, this is, I think, the third black cat I've had, but... But this is a Bombay cat. And this is what my cat looks like. And what's interesting about Bombay cats is that they have black noses and black whiskers, which not all black cats have that. So you might think that's common, but it's actually not as common as you would think. A lot of black cats, their whiskers aren't black, and their noses aren't black. They'll be like gray, you know? Let's just go black cat. Or I could be wrong. But yeah, a lot of these do look like Bombay cats. Actually, maybe they are all a Bombay, but because all these do look like they have black noses and black. Like here, like this guy. Yeah, see, these whiskers aren't really dark black. They're more like a white. Same thing with his, even look like white. Like my cat's was like these too. See how these are grayish looking? See, like almost all of these pictures, see that the whiskers are a lighter color. My cat's whiskers are jet black. I mean, they are super dark. Let's see if we can get a Bombay. See? Yeah, even these are a little bit darker. But the thing with Bombay is they have dark black noses, black whiskers, usually black hair, and even like the foot pads on their feet, you know, are also black. So my cat's like, he's just black everywhere. That's why I call him the Black. Call him the Black Devil. Yeah, it sucks though. Like leveling, like I would like to like do more PvP with these characters, like as I level them up, because you get better at PvP if you kind of work through the brackets. It's difficult to like level a character straight to like 80, you know, and jump right into PvP without having some practice at lower levels. But lower levels can also be kind of a pain in the butt because people down skip, you know, I mean, they'll be like level 80 and they'll go into lower level brackets. So sometimes you get like these insanely overpowered people. But anyways, I gotta get to bed. So I am currently leveling a Devastation Evoker here, and also the DeathKnight. Still looking for a character to play that I think could be fun. I feel like I excel on the Protection Warrior. Like, I mean, I'm really good at Protection Warrior. Like, in fact, I honestly haven't seen anybody playing Protection Warrior, at least in Battlegrounds, that I've seen that's better than I am. You know, like, I've never run into a Protection Warrior. Well, you know, you just don't really run into too many, to be honest, but I had like a Beastmaster Hunter who was fully decked out in full PvP gear, you know, full Conquest gear, duel me, and in Dornegal, whatever, and I beat him, of course, and he's like, oh shit, I didn't realize you were a tank. But that just shows you that you can go up against, like, completely decked out, geared DPS on a Protection Warrior and 1v1 them and still kill them. So you still have to know what you're doing. Like, if you weren't good with playing Protection, you would die. But so the point is, I think I excel at Protection Warrior, and so what I want to do is I want to play a class that actually has more damage, and so and excel at that class, you know, so that I can actually go into Battlegrounds and make more of an impact from a DPS point of view. But currently I've got the Evoker, who I think Evokers are pretty decent for like Battlegrounds. I don't think for like for Arena they're like so. Like, I feel like, I mean, like in a 2s team, probably they wouldn't be too. I don't know. You're probably gonna get focused down, to be honest, because I just don't feel the survivability on Evoker, at least from what I've seen so far. I don't feel like survivability is as good as it could be, but I haven't seen it at level 80. Like, I have played Evokers at level 80 on my Protection Warrior, and they're pretty survivable when I've gone up against them. So it could just be that I don't have my toolkit yet. You know, I don't have my full toolkit. I'm not level 80. I'm not even close to level 80. So And then we've got, let's see, let's move the DK up in here. So we've got the DK. And I don't think I'll be playing, let's do this. I think these are the characters I'll be playing probably the most. Is my Protection Paladin, Protection Warrior, the Evoker, and the Unholy DK. The other classes I looked at was really, I've never really played Windwalker Monk that much, but Windwalker Monk is pretty good right now in PvP, and then the other thing obviously would be Rogue, but Rogue is just like, Rogue is such a, it's just, there's so, like, Rogue is such a high skill ceiling. It's like there's, I mean, you can play Rogue and be, like, decent, but to play Rogue and, like, really be good, you've got to put in the time. You got to spend some serious time. I think when I looked at the Evoker, it feels like the Evoker is one of those classes you could probably pick up fairly quickly. The one thing with the Evoker, though, is I ran into a lot of kind of glitchy stuff. And let me show you what I mean. I hate the Evoker's, like, spells. Like, you know, I don't think I don't think a spell in an MMO should ever, like, if you're playing an MMO that has, like, you know, like PvP, I don't think there should ever be spells in MMOs where you have to, like, click a button and then wait a certain amount of time and then click it again. Like, that type of playstyle is just doesn't really work that well for PvP. And for PvE it's okay, but for PvP it doesn't really work that well. It doesn't feel good. And the other thing that I keep running into is I've got this spell here called Eternity Surge, and it's another one of those where I hit the button. I guess I can't do it if I don't have a target, though. And it's possible that maybe, I don't know, it's possible that, one thing I haven't thought of is sometimes it fires off when I don't want it to, and what I'm thinking possibly is that maybe I've got, like, a mob targeted, and I start to cast it, and then maybe the mob dies, and maybe that's what, then it automatically just triggers. I don't know if that's the case. Because if you start casting, you know, like Eternity Surge, you have to wait all this time for it to finish, right? But the spell does a ton of damage. But the thing I've run into with Eternity Surge is a lot of times when I'm in dungeons, I'll start casting it and it'll just go off without me hitting the button again, and I don't know why. So I don't know why. I don't really have that happen with Fire Breath. You know, Fire Breath I haven't really had that issue, but with Eternity Surge, so I don't know if it's glitchy, or maybe with the mob, when I target a mob and the mob dies, maybe it just automatically finishes the cast. So I'm not really sure about that one. And then also the other thing that's really glitchy is Deep Breath. A lot of times, even in PvP, I'll like target up with this Deep Breath, and then when I click the button to use it, it doesn't do anything. Like this happens all the time. It's not like this happens once in a while. It happens quite frequently. Where I'll go like this, hit left click to execute the spell, and it won't do anything. So I'll go boom, boom, click it. And of course, here, of course, it's working. But I don't know if it's just like it's just like one of those things where it's like the path. It's like, oh, you can't path to that location. So that's incredibly frustrating in PvP, you know. But you can see, look at the range. Like, this should be out of, see, I'm out of range now. This is not very far and I'm out of range. I mean, a hunter could be like, you know, like freaking way back here, you know, and I've got to get all the way up to here. So to fix the Evoker, for me, like if I was going to like fix the Evoker, what I would do is, and I think this would be an easy fix, is instead of, you can see the Eternity Search tooltip says 1, damage 1 enemy, 2, damage 2 enemy, 3, damage 3 enemy. So, you know, if you have to hold the button down, or you click the button and you wait a certain amount of time and you cast a spell. The easiest way to fix that would just be to basically build up charges for the spell, just like how you know, do on like Frost Shards or something on like a Frost Mage. So like you use certain abilities, and those abilities have a chance to build up stacks, and then you just use the spell. So like basically I can cast Eternity Surge whenever I want, but it's only ever going to be like, you know, Eternity Surge 1 until I build up those stacks. And those stacks come from using other abilities. Maybe like when I'm spamming my Azure Strike here, I have a chance to proc a charge of Eternity Surge. And then, you know, I can see that on the screen, and then once I get 3 charges, I could just, or I guess it would be 3. Yeah, I guess it would be 2. It would have to be 3. Once I get 3 charges, then I could cast it, and it would be, you know, the full strength. That would get rid of this whole like waiting like this, because this is just a bad mechanic. This is just a bad mechanic. Same thing here with this ability, like Fire Breath holding this down. Although the Fire Breath doesn't bother me as much, I think because I don't know. I just think the Fire Breath, because it's got this reticule, it doesn't feel as bad to me. And I've never really had too many issues with it. It always seems to work kind of the way I would expect. So I don't really mind Fire Breath too much. And I also think it has a cool fantasy feel to it. Like how the dragon's like, you know, building up all the, you know, the fire in her chest before she bellows it out. So I don't really mind this one. This one doesn't bother me. But Eternity Surge definitely I don't like. I don't like Eternity Surge. I think I would just make that you know, you build up charges, you know, passively by doing other things, and then once you get 3 charges, you would just cast it as a regular spell. And then the same thing with this. I mean, there's no need to have this. There's no need to have to do this, right? Like if I do, for example, if I mouse over this target and cast Emerald Blossom, that must be like a horde. No, it should have cast it. Actually, it should have cast it over here in a second. I don't know why that didn't cast on them. Cast on me. Cast heal on them. Cleanse them, cleanse me. Let me try this again. Maybe I just... There, yeah, okay, it worked. Cool, yeah. If I mouse over, it should cast it on them. But my point is, it should just be like Death and Decay. Like, if I have... It should be just like cast at cursor. So, I don't know why I need this. Like this. Like, all you really should do is just be like what you're throwing down any other targeted ability like Death and Decay. You just put your cursor over there. Like, if I wanted to do... I guess maybe the reason they did it is because if you... Like, let's say I wanted to do a deep breath where I went past this dummy, you know, all the way to, like, here, you know, or let's say I was trying to do the deep breath so that it went all the way up to where I'm standing, and I'm over here. It would be difficult with the typical targeting abilities in WoW, because what happens is as you move your cursor over, it's going to try to, like, highlight the enemy. So you'd have to go quite a bit past the enemy, but I still think it's doable. You know, I still think I would probably prefer, you know, just having it be like tossing down Death and Decay instead of like throwing up this thing and like stretching it. You know, it's like, why not just move your cursor to here and hit the button? You know, why not just go boom, hit the button instead of having doing this and then drag it out? Because it takes too long. It's like, oh, I gotta do this and then I gotta drag it out. I mean, because you can do a deep breath for a really short distance, obviously, like this, or you can do it for a really long distance. But I don't know. I think these abilities that they have for the Evoker are they're just not the easiest way to do stuff in PvP. Yeah. I mean, even another thing, they're giving you the ability to do deep breath at certain distances like this. Honestly, I think I would have preferred that they just made it static. Like, say that deep breath is always at this distance, like this far. You know, this seems like a pretty decent distance. And then you just use at cursor. You know, you just like cast it and say, okay, deep breath, move my cursor here, boom, go. You know, that way you don't even have to worry about dragging it, because it's always the same distance. And I would just go boom, boom, and, you know, and I wouldn't have to worry about dragging the cursor around or doing any of that. Now, it's going to make deep breath a lot less flexible. It's not going to give you the flexibility of doing really far charges with it. But I think in most cases, you're not really going to do a super long deep breath, especially for PvP, because the longer you're doing deep breath in the air, the easier it is for people to move out of the way, you know, to avoid it. Like, if you start a deep breath here, and you're going to go that far, people are going to see you coming, you know, and they're just going to move out of the way. So usually when you do debuff, you're going to want to be a little bit closer. You're going to want to probably be like, you know, maybe this close. The only way you're going to get away with the deep breath really further far with PvP and still land it on someone who's that far away is if they're just completely not paying attention. You know, which is quite possible. Which is quite possible. But yeah, I don't know. The Drac there, the Devastation. It's okay. It's okay. You know. A lot of these casting things, I don't, you know, like, I don't know. I mean, it is a caster, so I guess I shouldn't complain too much. I think what would make the Devastation Evoker a lot better would be to make it more like a Affliction Warlock. I would say give the class a little bit more instant cast abilities. Like, I think just in general, I mean, even Affliction Warlocks are struggled in Arena World Champions. They struggled in Arena World Championships against teams that are like Melee Cleave, you know, against Jungle Cleave, just because even though they're tanky, they just don't have the ability to stay away from people. They use their portals and stuff, but they still were just getting shredded. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of problems in PvP. I mean, it just feels like there's so many classes that aren't, like when I watched the Arena World Championships, there were so many classes that just feel like they weren't really that viable. Like they weren't represented. You know, like actually Venruki did a video on it. If we take a look at his, let's go ahead and get out of the game because I'm kind of done playing for tonight. I'm too tired, but I gotta get to bed. But if you look at Ven's video, let's see if I've got it up.
The AWC Cup 1 is finished, and I figured we could have...
So this was basically what Ven did, is he went through the Arena World Championships, and he looked at all the matches and the wins and the losses, and he basically just tried to say, you know, which comps performed pretty well, you know, which classes did pretty well. And overall, I think he did a decent job of covering this, but if you go through here, like here he's talking about, I don't know why it says melee DPS here, because... I mean, he's got stuff in here that's not melee DPS, so it's kind of, you know, I don't know. But anyway, because I mean, although he doesn't have range, but he's got healers in here. See, he's got, oh, so he did healers first, never mind. So he did healers, and I think the one thing that was interesting is that, you know, Holy Paladin did get buffed, and my voice is going. Holy Paladin did get buffed, and... he's got it in, had the most success. Holy Paladin and I think Disc Priest. So if you go with here, actually here, Holy Paladin is surprisingly good. And the thing with that made Holy Paladin so good in Arena World Championships was that there were certain comps that, you know, Holy Paladin helps certain classes in that they can supply Hand of Freedom and they can supply supply Blessing of Protection, which is really good against cleave comps, against melee cleave. So if you are playing with, for example, a Warlock and a Holy Paladin, you know, you're gonna be helping out your Warlock a little bit more than like a Discipline Priest, because you've got the ability to just bop, which completely stops, you know, if you've got like a Rogue, and let's say you've got like a Rogue and a Hunter on your team or something. I mean, that's just going to immediately like make the, you know, the Warlock immune to so much damage, because a lot of the Hunter's damage is physical damage, and a lot of the Rogue's damage, of course, is physical damage. So the bop's completely going to protect. And then of course Freedom. You know, if you're playing with maybe like a DeathKnight, if you're going up against like a DeathKnight or something, somebody's got a lot of roots, like maybe a Frost Mage. You know, just whoever, like a Rogue too. Rogue, you know, having the Hand of Freedom is incredibly useful. There's other things that Protection Paladins have too, that make them useful, but they're definitely, I think, if you're going with a caster, you know, a high, kind of like a glass cannon type character on your team, I think having a Holy Paladin is a better healer than a Disc Priest. But anyways, so yeah, the Holy Paladin was, you know, surprisingly good. And Holy Paladins were listed in tier lists as, honestly, like a couple months ago, as being one of the worst healers. If you go here, and we look at Snoopy's PvP tier list, and this was just from 5 days ago, we're probably not going to have Holy Paladin in the S tier, you know. And this was, I think he did this before the Arena World Championships. So let's take a look.
So we're going to be putting, see, Edley's going to be going a bit low for games present disc.
Yep, so he did have it in S tier. Oh no, that's
It's
disc.
making some strides. It is.
So he had Holy here. He had Holy Paladin in the A tier, which is kind of what I would expect. But they had Holy Paladin all the way down, I think, in the B tier at the beginning of the War Within. But it has been getting consistently buffed, you know, over time. And actually, it surprisingly does a little bit of damage as well. You can actually do a little bit of DPS. Normally, people say that Disc is one of the better healers for pushing out damage. Well, Preservation is the best. I don't think there's any healer that can do as much damage as a Preservation Evoker. But Disc actually supposedly is like maybe number 2 on putting out DPS. But I saw some matches where the Holy Paladin was actually out DPSing the Disc Priest on the other team as far as damage. Well, you're not going to do a ton of damage, but you know, anything you can do is going to help your team to win. So, but yeah, the comp's interesting. Like, one of the things that you have performed below expectations is going to be, as we go through here, you're going to see he's going to have perform below expectations. He's going to have Destruction, you know, Destruction Evoker. And I think the reason it performed below expectations is just, like I said, I mean, they don't have really the range. And I think there was an actual match that I watched. I don't know if it was. Let's see.
Even though Peekaboo is kidnapped up, the
Yeah, I think it's this one. See here, I believe this is Devastation Evoker right here, because you got a Disc Priest and a DK. And let's see. Actually, I don't think I watched this match. Let's take a look.
move to really keep going, and especially for WizK to keep the damage this high.
On, you know, the top performing spec at the moment with everybody selecting it. So finding a way to get through that is really the challenge for K, because that's the standard strat. You grip the priest, and they also have a lot of other tools to just avoid getting gripped. You can
and especially for WizK,
that this is the only comp that they really have available. So it's not like you can just switch to something else. And I don't know what heal expansions. So I definitely think that, like, this is like, he should have probably been stepping up into tournaments for a while now, honestly. So it's nice that he's this is kind of his chance to start having a showcase. But in game number 1, he is not going to be the mover, focusing on that Warlock, Rogue, Priest composition.
Yeah, Warlock, Rogue, Priest is... This comp here is really good. Although I do think Holy Paladin, Rogue, Warlock is a better comp.
This has been their main priority comp.
All right, let's see what they can do here. Game number 1, K versus the move, Lithy.
I am a big fan, of course. The move coming in, Rogue Lock, whatever you want to call it. They're getting stunned up by the deep breath here, but the Live Lord himself on this Devastation Evoker is looking for a good opener, and Absturge and the move are just getting chunked by the K.
And so here it's interesting when you look at these Arena World Championships, you really want to look at the damage and see how much damage can these classes actually put out. And I saw Unholy DK putting out some serious damage, but that was Mez, who's probably one of the best DKs in the world, in one of the matches. And then, but also Wiz, I mean, it really, Affliction Warlock, from what I've seen, well, actually here, where's Kitor? You can see he is number 1 DPS right now, the Unholy DK. So Unholy DKs do good damage. If you look at WizK, he's the Affliction Warlock. We'll see how that DPS ends up in this match.
Quite honestly, if I'm looking at these Raptor Shields, that's probably going to get recovered, hopefully at the very least. Now WizK popping in the CDs, Peekaboo looking for a little bit of a setup, trying to get the CC in, but Buddha just kiting away with Absturge, getting CC'd here. Deep Monk on the other side, getting swapped to...
And you're going to see the problem with the Devastation Evoker already is they just don't, in my opinion, they don't have the survivability of some other classes. And also look at his damage. I mean, he's not putting out anywhere near as much damage as the Affliction Warlock. And also notice the Affliction Warlock, who was really way down on DPS, now has moved way up. I mean, it's amazing. Look at this. Watch.
So it's a big fat.
Watch how Wiz, like, right? Yeah, he's watch his damage.
Of course, the move coming in, rock.
Like right down, he's all the way down to like. Of course, this is very early.
Rogue lock, whatever you want to call it.
But you can see Buta and Kiator have a good opening. They're doing good damage.
They're getting stunned up by the deep breath here, but the live.
And here again, Wiz is not really doing a lot of damage.
Lord himself on this.
But I knew by the time this match was over, that would not be the case. I guarantee you, by the time this match is over, Wiz will probably be number 1 in DPS.
Devastation Evoker is looking for a good opener, and Upsurge in the move are just getting chunked by the K. Quite honestly, if I'm looking at these Rapture Shields, that's probably going to get recovered, hopefully at the very least. Now, WizK popping in the CDs. Peekaboo looking for a little bit of a setup, trying to get the CC in, but Buddha just kiting away with Absturge getting CC'd here. Deep Monk on the other side getting swapped to WizK is just deleting people left, right, and center. How are you going to heal out these dots? It's not happening. Absturge with the ultimate penitence as well, and Buddha is just really dropping lower and lower. Dips around the pillar, gets the AMS, and I think for the moment he might be able to recover here. Triple Fear coming in though, Absturge on the offensive, then another cheap shot, and the move almost finishing him off. Last second time stop, the swap from Meat Monk and the big shields. Super, this is an insane opener from the move.
I mean, Meep is sweating right now. I can't believe that he's still alive at this point in the game. Now he's in a kidney shot. If they get any more crowd control off the back of that, it could be lights out for Buddha, but these powered shields are massive. WizK gates away. Absturge is still holding his team strong, keeping them in a position where they can continue to develop momentum. And I would say out of all the Warlocks I've seen so far in North America, WizK is typically the one that's doing the highest amount of damage. It doesn't matter what class he's playing, he's just always top of the meter. Look at this, he's faking the interrupt, he's free casting, he's doing so much damage with these Malefic Raptures that Meep and Buddha, they just got to sit behind the pillar. Maybe they're trying to bait Peekaboo, actually. The two of them are going after Peekaboo. They got him at about half health here, but Absturge moves forward. He's in a position now to recover him. WizK is trying to collapse on top of Meep, but they grip in Peekaboo away from Buddha, and it's all about setting up this deep breath. They have Dragon's Rage in 15 seconds, so if they want to line that up, they're going for the deep breath now, pulling the trigger. He stuns the whole team. Can he get the sleepwalk? He's not able to get the sleepwalk. Nice denial from Peekaboo.
Beautifully done. I love this steerable deep breath. It's just so funny to watch. But WizK, he is definitely not laughing right now. He's the Dragon Rage. Big damage coming through with the Pyres being tossed into the equation. And Absturge, he's really suffering, trying to push in. Has the Void Shift available if he really needs it, but tosses out some big Rapture Shield here onto Peekaboo. WizK with the Haunt, trying to make something happen with the Spell Reflect as well in the move. Really just looking for those setups. The zap out of the blind here from Peekaboo. Meatmonk really just sweating over in the corner on the other side of the map as Buddha is the big target. Keter just mind controlled.
I'm actually surprised that Buddha has lived as long as he has, but you can see his DPS just isn't even close to WizK. I mean, he's like not even half, and it's just a little bit more than half than the Unholy. So I just feel like Devastation Evoker, even though they do amazing damage, it's not really easy to get the damage out, and I just think you're kind of squishy.
Off to the side, Peekaboo back into the action. They're onto the Dragon. Dragon Rage running out. It might be all over 4K here as Buddha gets some big shields. Meatmonk stabilizing things for just a moment, and it almost looks like K is winning on the mana game at the very least, even if the momentum doesn't seem to be on their side.
Yeah, I think it's just the Subtlety Rogue is not adding the same type of pressure as the DeathKnight in this mixture, and Deep Breath flies through the whole team once again, but Peekaboo's making a swap onto Meep. He's being greedy. He's not trading that pain suppression. Is he going to get away with the greed? Peekaboo is still all over him. He's in line of sight of WizK as well. Keter's going to stun WizK, stall out that aggression. Absturge dropping down a barrier to protect WizK, but it's so much damage. Buddha just doesn't care about that barrier. He's just full committing into it to try and keep him low. Grip double into a blinding sleet. Is he going to get a triple stack? Peekaboo stacks up with Shadow Step. It could be a mistake. If Buddha gets some triple disintegrates here with that mass disintegrate, they could just all melt, but it looks like he's pulling away from the engagement. Peekaboo pops evasion, but
I don't know why Buddha didn't, like, that was a perfect situation for the Evoker to, like, if you watch this here.
The DeathKnight in this mixture, and Deep Breath flies through the whole team once again, but Peekaboo's making a swap onto Meep. He's being greedy. He's not trading that pain suppression. Is he going to get away with the greed? Peekaboo is still all over him. He's in line of...
Right here. Right here, you can see WizK and Peekaboo. Watch
Side of
this.
WizK as well. Keter's going to stun WizK, stall out that aggression. Absurge dropping down a barrier to protect WizK, but it's so much damage. But it just doesn't care about that barrier.
I don't know where Peekaboo is right now. I don't see the rogue.
He's just full committing in.
Okay, the rogue's back here on Meat Monk on the healer.
Into it to try and keep him low.
So Buddha went back to basically try to peel for his healer. You can see that's what he's doing because Peekaboo's doing quite a bit of damage on Meep.
Grip double.
But right here when Peekaboo starts moving towards the mid, this is when Buddha could do a beautiful deep breath here to stun Peekaboo and Wiz and Absturge all at the same time. And since Peekaboo and Wiz are already kind of low on health, this would be a perfect situation to do a deep breath, get the stun, and then do a sleepwalk on Absturge. And at that point, it's pretty much the game would be over. Except, well, it wouldn't because Absturge has his trinket. But this is a perfect setup for Buddha to do a deep breath right here. I don't know if we can see here yeah, it looks like. Oh no! See, I think this is deep breath here, and I believe it's still on cooldown, unfortunately. So, that's why he didn't do it.
Into a blinding sleet. Is he going to get a triple stack? Peekaboo stacks up with the shadow step. It could be a mistake if Buddha gets.
Again, you see that beautiful. Man, it's too bad that deep breath wasn't off cooldown.
Some triple disintegrates here with that mass disintegrate that could just all melt, but it looks like he's pulling away from the engagement. Peekaboo pops evasion, but Keter's not even going after him. He cheap shots Buddha on the disintegrate. Fear on the Meat Monk. They've got Keter rotting down, but he's got cooldowns available. Buddha's already shielded up and looking pretty solid. And honestly, if Meat Monk can just keep the team alive, I think they're going to win this on mana.
It might be possible, but the move is on the offensive. Another deep breath coming through onto the entire team. They're getting stunned up. Peekaboo might be the target.
You can see as soon as deep breath was off cooldown, he used it. Watch this. See, deep breath's about 20 some odd seconds. 10 seconds. Let's see if he uses it right up as it's off cooldown.
The teleport was repositioned.
9,
the
8.
move really is on the offensive. Full blind onto Meat Monk once again. He's on half HP. The bombardment procs, but really doesn't do too much.
Right now.
Out, trying to stay offensive as Buddha is just really hammering in the disintegrate damage in this situation, but he's getting swapped to Dragon Rage.
Oh, he got killed. Shit. This is like really, this is horrible. I can't believe he died. I actually thought that K was going to win this one because if you look at the man on Absturge, he's really low.
Spell Reflect from WizK, Unending Resolve just ran out. The teleport was.
But really, any team with the Devastation Evoker in the Arena World Championships didn't really. I don't think there was too many wins. This should have been a win. I mean, honestly, let's look at this again.
Repositioned. The move really is on the offensive. Full blind onto Meat Monk once again. He's on half HP. The bombardment procs, but really doesn't do too much. WizK porting out, trying to stay offensive.
Okay, so right now let's take a look at his trinket, Meat Monk, because Buddha's going to die. And Meat Monk's got his trinket, so let's see what happens.
As Buddha is just really hammering in the disintegrate.
See, look, Buddha's almost dead. And I don't know why, because Meat Monk is not CC'd. This could just be a screw up on the priest part.
Damage in this
because Meat Monk is still not CC'd.
situation, but he's getting.
Now he's CC'd right here. But he's got his trinket.
Swap to Dragon.
Why isn't he trinketing?
Right, running.
Yeah, he didn't trinket. I don't know why he didn't trinket.
Out as well as his HP bar and the move.
Yeah, that
Find
just
the swap and the finish. Tossed into the equation here for Meat Monk, caping his team.
It just looks like a screw up by Meat Monk, in my opinion. The dragon should not have died
alive.
here.
Spell Reflect from WizK, Unending Resolve just ran out. The teleport was repositioned. The move really is on the offensive. Full blind onto Meat Monk once again. He's on half HP. The bombardment procs, but really doesn't do too much. WizK porting out.
It could be that he was focused. Let's see.
Trying to stay offensive as Buddha is just really hammering in the disintegrate damage in this situation.
Sometimes when a healer starts to get low, they panic and heal themselves instead of healing their team. And it could be that Meat Monk was so worried about his health going down that he was focusing on healing himself. But you would think at this level of competition that would not be the case. But it's just amazing to me that Buddha's like, he's not getting any heals at all. And Meat Monk right here is CC, but he's got his trinket. So he should immediately trinket this. Power word shield Buddha and then immediately fear if he's got fear off cooldown to just kind of get a split second to then get in the next heal.
But he's getting swapped to Dragon.
Because really it's Peekaboo that's on the dragon, killing the dragon. But Peekaboo has got Cloak of Shadows up, so he's going to be immune to fear, which is smart. If you're a rogue and you've almost got someone dead, especially if you're going up against a priest or anybody that can fear, you're gonna pop your Cloak of Shadows. That way, they can't really CC you with the fear. And the only way to like get you off at that point, and it's even with a stun, it's gonna be difficult because the cloak makes getting stunned more difficult. So really, you just have to heal through it. Pain suppress. But yeah, that was a real screw up on Meat Monk's part because he didn't trinket the CC. I don't really know why.
running out as well as his HP bar, and the move. Find the swap and the finishing blow. Up 1 in this series.
Really well done. I think the aggression of Peekaboo WizK was on point this game. This game could have ended in the first minute. I feel like it was honestly a little bit of luck on the side of K to even survive this long in the game. So it looks like a rough match for them specifically. I would say typically Subtlety Rogues kind of counter the Evoker class. Usually it's very slippery, it's hard to get uptime on, but as a rogue, Shadow Step, Cheap Shot, the dragon's going nowhere, and you get all of your damage guaranteed. So Subtlety Rogue is like one of the best classes to take against a high mobility spec like the Evoker, and that's what we saw at the end of the game. This was a bit earlier on in the match. This was just towards the end of the kill. I was kind of hoping we caught that time stop at the beginning that was at like 1% with Butta, but you'll see it in a moment where Peekaboo just gets on top of the Evoker and he just can't get away. He hovers over, he's Cheap Shot again, he can't get away. There's no escaping the Subtlety Rogue. He was shadowy dueled there as well, even though Meep tried to fear him away. So it's a really tough matchup. And
see, he said that Meep did try to fear him away, but he said he was shadowy dueled. That's why he was dark, I guess. I saw that he was like dark in color, which I just assumed was cloak. Because when you cloak a shadow, you do turn like this dark color. But I don't know if shadowy duel makes you more resistant to fear. Probably does.
Unfortunately, I think for K that this is the only comp that they really have available, so it's not like you can just switch to something else.
Well, I don't think you can run with the Devastation Evoker as your only comp. You've got to have somebody else. The most powerful comps right now in the Arena World Championships are anything with a Rogue, Affliction Warlock. Any healer with Rogue Affliction Warlock is pretty good. And then, of course, Jungle with Feral Druid and really Beast Mastery Hunter as opposed to Marksman. Beast Mastery is better. It's just easier to do damage without, because you can still do damage while you're like line of sight, because your pets, you can still control your pets and tell them to attack, even though the target they're attacking is out of line of sight of you. And with the Beast Mastery Hunter having so much damage come from pets, it's just easier to keep certain damage up.
Huge damage from Team Liquid. The Cyclone Sam-I-Am on half HP.
Like here's an example of Team Liquid going with that same setup, the Priest, the Rogue, and the Warlock, which is a great setup, but they're going into the one setup that kind of counters it, which is Jungle, and that's the Feral Druid, the Hunter. But I believe this, I'm not sure if this Hunter, this Hunter is Beast Mastery, and the reason I know it's Beast Mastery is because of the barbed shot here. See this barbed shot? So let's take a look.
Great work here by
And you can see it already. There's multiple pets out. You see like the two. You see there's 1, 2, 3 Hunter pets currently out, so you know right away it's Beast Mastery.
Master spell coming out though from Sidu as he tries to keep Sam-I-Am offensive. There's the full freezing trap connecting. Sam-I-Am immediately porting out to safety. Another smoke bomb being dropped here onto Axton. Trill taking matters into his own hands, and Trill is going to blast this Feral Druid out of the litter box.
Am I insane? I swear Trill just used smoke bomb, and like what just happened?
Yeah. And so they won.
Can Sidu keep him alive? The full bash lands. He gets feared on his trinket. Sam-I-Am portals away in desperation. Somehow, some way, still alive. Can Sidu pull off the miracle? Can they keep him alive? I can't believe Sam-I-Am is still alive. Sidu almost tops him off. This is unreal. The pressure from Power Toads is immense, but I think Sam-I-Am will eventually fall. Oh, just a few short seconds left on the Rapture, the Archangel. Sidu definitely would have kept him alive at that point, but this smaller map definitely looked good for Power Toads. I gotta say, I feel like Liquid, they did a really good job navigating the map. They were relaying Sam's point.
Yeah, Liquid lost this match. Liquid was the North American champion last year in the Arena World Championships, and this is the North American region, and they don't make it. They lose to Power Toads, and they go down into the bottom bracket because it's a double elimination, and they go up against F tier, and they lose to F tier. But one thing that's interesting with this F tier is they get down 2-0. And then they bring in the DK, and the DK does some insane. This DK does some insane damage.
A Rogue and a DeathKnight, just
here. Not even on the day. The game number 3, it is match point. F tier, just need to do it one more time. Lord Mez tagged in and looking for the enhancement shaman, and here comes the damage immediately from Team Liquid here.
He didn't get the blinding sleet on the paladin there. He got the grip and didn't get the blind, so it's a bit devastating for Mez's side. They don't get the combo to intercept the cleave. Now they get the blinding sleet. Here comes the triple pressure. Massive damage with these garrotes across the board, but they dismantle Trill, slowing down his assault in this position. And now Saul is going to trade his cooldowns as well to recover in this position. Trill seems to be the focus point, though. He's got no trinket. That next leg sweep in 28 seconds. Dorito is just waiting to line that up on Trill, I can imagine. So they're just going to kind of ramp up their damage, maybe poke Mez, bait Mez as a target, and then swap with that leg sweep.
Yeah, definitely a lot of juicy targets, but what is going on with Mez's damage? He's just chilling at 1 million DPS right now, just killing the entire team of F tier. The sacrifice comes out. They could swap the Chaz with that sacrifice ticking, and that's exactly what Trill wants to do there. He applies a nice...
Also, I think it's interesting to see when he said that what's up with Mez, you know, 1 million DPS is a really good amount of DPS of your damage per second. Like if you can pull 1 million damage per second, you're going to be doing very well in PvP. Like for example, my protection warrior typically pulls around 300 to 350k, you know, per second, and you can see that wouldn't even put me. That would put me behind Sal here. So like basically all the DPS here, the lowest one is Sal, which is the enhancement shaman, and he's pulling out 445. So as a protection warrior, I'm only pulling like 300, 350. So I'm quite a bit lower than that even. But it's protection warrior. That's kind of not surprising. But yeah, when you start getting up to around 1 million DPS per second, that's insane.
Nice little rupture Garrote there onto Shaz. Hand of Divinity coming out behind the pillar there for Shaz, as Trill is taking a lot of damage there as well. There's the leg sweep swap that we were talking about in Touch of Death range. Ultimate Penitence coming out there for Sidu. Manages to save the day. And now once again it's going to be Saul actually on the back foot, trading out the Burrow, already traded out his Stone Bulwark Totem, and now Dorito trading out his...
And the reason that Liquid went to this team comp is because they ran with their Priest Rogue Warlock into the... was it into this comp? Let me see. Yeah, it was. They ran with their typical... and first they started off with the Disc Priest. They went Disc Priest, Rogue, Affliction Warlock into this enemy team, which is a really unique composition. Hardly no one's playing this comp, which is the Holy Paladin, the Windwalker Monk, and the Enhancement Shaman. Because not too many people are playing Enhancement Shaman. But they lose. They lose this match, and which is pretty interesting. And I think a lot of the reasons they lose because of the Holy Paladin. I think if this was a Disc Priest, they would have won. And then they go in the next match, and Sidu is a big fan of the Dragon, of Preservation Evoker. So after losing that first match, they go into the second match, and he pulls out the Preservation Evoker, thinking I can do some damage, and I've got some other utility. But they lose this match as well. And so then they go into the third match, and in the third match, Liquid pulls out the DeathKnight. Because what's interesting with the DeathKnight is you run with the Assassination Rogue, and the Assassination Rogue has the ability to do a lot of AoE damage because they can spread their ruptures and their garrets and stuff. So basically, you know, the goal is to basically group everybody up with the DK and then have the Assassination Rogue, like, you know, put ruptures out on everybody. So he's basically doing damage to everybody. And then the DK also has abilities that spread his diseases and stuff to everybody. So they're basically just, you'll see this enemy team, see how like all their health is like almost half health. That's because the way the Assassination Rogue and the DeathKnight work is that they can really spread out a lot of damage to the entire enemy team. And it's a pretty amazing cleave actually. And so they decided to try this comp versus this team that was beating them.
Behind the pillar there,
it actually works.
As Trill is taking a lot of damage there as well. There's the leg sweep swap that we were talking about in Touch of Death range. Ultimate Penitence coming out there for Sidu. Manages to save the day. And now once again it's going to be Saul actually on the back foot, trading out the Burrow, already traded out his Stone Bulwark Totem, and now Dorito trading out his Touch of Karma. If Mez can just keep up this damage, I think things are looking pretty solid here for Team Liquid. But at the same time, it's so dangerous because Trill has no trinket as well. He could easily fall in that next leg sweep.
Oh, Smoke Bomb comes down. Are they going to take him out? They thunderstorm Trill away from it, buying a couple of seconds. Saul jumps out of the smoke bomb, but Shaz into the blind. He divine shields it. He's not playing any risks here in this situation. He's charging forward. Hammer of Justice. Is he playing Repentance possibly, or Blinding Light in this position? Oh, any magic shield from Mez on Sidu to deny further crowd control. That was crazy utility, but now he's kind of vulnerable. He's still getting cleaved at the moment. Nice crowd control avoidance, but another leg sweep. No trinket. Is Sidu ready for the hit? It's match point and a truck ton of damage as Trill gets some cheap shots, peeling them away. Garrotes for the whole team. And now, as long as Trill stabilizes here, he's going to run them over.
Yeah, the raw damage is really starting to tick in, and Trill is feeling confident, and oh my goodness, there it is. Team Liquid bites back. The assassin
take him out. They thunderstorm Trill away from it.
Coming in there at the end.
Here, he's going to run them over.
Now watch the enhancement get annihilated here.
Over.
Yeah, the raw damage is really starting to tick in, and Trill is feeling confident, and oh my goodness, there it is. Team Liquid bites back. The Assassination Rogue Execute mechanic coming in there at the end, and look what happens when Lord Mez is tagged in. This is the reason why he's basically Arthas. I mean, look at his damage, 800k DPS at the end of that one, sustaining 1 mil DPS by himself, you know, in the opening stages of that one. And that's one thing about Mez. If you have Mez on your roster, you just know that if there is a situation where your backs are against the wall, he might just come in and just destroy the entire team with his damage. But that was a close one for sure. I mean, here, right there, Trill almost going down in that leg sweep, manages to get the vanish off to avoid that touch of death, gets the cheap shot. There's the triple Garrots coming out, the Abomination coming out there for Mez as well. And you can see all of the damage is starting to tick in. And then Saul right here is feeling the
up losing on mana later in the game, so it's going to be a difficult balance for both sides to decide when to make their push. When are they going to play aggressive? If they make the wrong move, it could cost them the game really early. If they never make a move, they could lose on mana, so it looked very difficult. One thing I will say for Casu is that his damage improved throughout this game. In the initial stages, it felt like Casu and Tony were...
That's when you watch the Arena World Championships, you tend to see the same people, like Relza, Casu, Tony. These guys have been playing in Arena World Championships for a long time. And then here you've got Waz and Raikou and Meh. Again, these guys, I think these guys might have won the entire Blizzard World Championship last year. BlizzCon, I think they did. And then, yeah, Elsewave, Jay, and TJ, these guys are, you know, they've been around a while. So it's always the same people, the same, you know, top rank, like Prev, Drake, and, you know, these guys are veterans. Cubsy's a veteran, Dazed, and these are all veterans of World Tour Championships. They've been around for years and years. And this was the F tier versus the Fellowship. And then Power Toads versus F tier. I don't think I've watched this one. This one's probably a pretty good one. Because both these teams are... Now, this one they're running the Mage, which I haven't watched. Yeah, I don't think I've watched any of this one. So let's take a look at this one. Because the Mage... I haven't seen the Frost Mage in the Arena World Championships. So let's take a look. And it's interesting because F tier is running, like I said, they're the only team that's really running an enhancement shaman comp, so it's very, very unusual.
Protection as well as Axton's Bark Skin on the other side. Saul trades out the grounding totem, so currently looking quite all right. It's quite unsure for me who the real kill target is in this comp.
Okay, well, this is interesting. This is not a Frost Mage. This is actually an Arcane Mage. So that's a little bit unusual too. You don't see too many people running Arcane Mages in the Arena World Championships.
Quite honestly, I think F tier could go for anyone. If you can go for Cupsy, that's probably a great idea, but we've seen them murder Feral Druids in the blink of an eye in the last series, so who knows who they're gonna go for. Shaz gets rooted on the attempt to run down Tuna, but for the moment it's really F tier on the pressure points.
Yeah, Cubsy going for a big missile barrage here in the back line, and that's the thing. If you go after Axton, you're just leaving a free casting Arcane Mage. If you go after the Arcane Mage, then you're leaving an open and Feral Druid to bleed you up and get Cyclones. It's definitely a difficult line to navigate. I do wonder if maybe they decide to go after Tuna. It looks like we're going to get a double leg sweep here. Just a single, unfortunately. Actually, Tuna pre-bopped the leg sweep, so manages to get the Blessing of Protection on that stun. Is going to be met with a Hammer of Justice, though. However, he's going to be able to get away, and both these Paladins keeping their teams nice and stable for the time being. Pressure, I think, has been a little bit higher on the side of Power Toads, but Axton finally feeling the heat. But a Feral Druid with Blessing of Freedom is going to be really difficult to actually chase down for Saul and Dorito.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Shaz is bleeding a little bit more mana than Tuna at the moment, so that game is going apace, and Saul is taking a good chunk of damage. Might have to trade Burrow. Yep, there it is. Quite all right. That trade out tries to get in the Lightning Lasso while Shaz is sitting in CC. Now the big heals are coming through while Cubsy actually pops the Spark, or the Touch of the Magi, in and does some good damage. In the meantime, we can take stock of the defensives, especially Saul looking a little bit rough overall. Axton has the Barkskin rotating up. It goes on the offensive, going actually for a good kill attempt here on the Shaman. Saul really needs to be careful and trades out the Stone Bulwark. Totem should be fine. The swap over onto Tuna, very good. The half-DR Hodge follow up, the knock-up with the Whirling Dragon Punch. Tuna in a lot of danger right now, but pops in the wings, should be able to stabilize. Another Hodge onto Shaz, full clone on Dorito, and Saul is kiting once again. The Astral Shift coming back up right now, so he has a few more tools to stay alive.
Yeah, just really slippery. I like this composition that Power Toads has picked. Really difficult to go after the Feral Druid. It's difficult to go after the Mage. He's playing Blink as well. He can just remove stuns. Dorito taking a lot of damage, though. He's going to have to trade out the Diffuse Magic. He's kind of stuck in the middle of the map. He does have his portal available if he needs it, but just holding on to that. Doesn't want to trade out the Touch of Karma just yet, but both Saul and Dorito are getting completely destroyed. Axton looking for a potential Cyclone. If he lands a Cyclone on Chaz, it is going to be lights out. Fakes out the interrupt at the last possible second. Here comes the full Cyclone, and I don't know, how are they going to be able to take him down? It seems like Dorito and Saul are kind of easily just dealing with that crowd control on the healer. They just didn't have enough damage. They did force the Astral Shift, but it just wasn't enough to get more.
Yeah, but in the trade with the Static Field Totem Leg Sweep combo, once again, they got Cubsy's Trinket, so only the Ice Block left in the tank here for the Arcane Mage, but it might be more than enough because Saul is just dying in open field. Cubsy doing so much damage that the swap onto Axton is great. Tuna trying to get the heals in, but it's very dangerous. Survival Instinct trade.
One thing here that you can look at is just look at the damage. I mean, you can see that Power Toads with Axton and Cubsy, they are doing quite a bit more damage than Dorito and Saul. You know, you're talking, 60, what do you got? Like 130, 140 million. Whereas here you've got like 200 and, 214 million. So it's a big difference.
It out, the renewal also on cooldown, and suddenly F tier, they get a bunch of big CDs out of that one, but still might be able to take down Axton. The Barkskin tossed in as well. Tuna gets blinded. No Trinket, might have to bubble here, but the damage on Axton not quite enough. Cubsy trying to bring all the power in, gets bopped as well, or rather steals that one from Shaz, and for the moment, Power Toads, they're going on the offensive once again, but that leg sweep, that could spell doom for Axton. The damage not quite there though, because Tuna has the wings going, gets the big casts through, and will be able to pump while Saul is just dying. Next Burrow, it's barely off cooldown. Can he get it out in time? It seems like Shaz is there with the sack, and that's enough for the moment.
Axton is tanking it out in bear form right now, just reducing a lot of that incoming damage. Massive amounts of pressure coming in. Power Toads is in the driver's seat, but Cubsy gets interrupted, and it's just a slow, steady race to go after Axton. Those lightning lassos are absolutely devastating. Those stun locks on Axton are going to be the time where he is most vulnerable in this match. Tuna trades out the sacrifice to keep him alive. Saul, in the meantime, trades out his wall so he can just remain aggressive, but we've been following Cubsy for a while now. He gets the evocation out. He's going for the shifting power. If he gets a touch of the Magi, he might have that overwhelming damage he needs to take someone down. Here comes the double lightning lasso static field leg sweep. Nicely done there by Saul, but unfortunately not amounting to too much. And now Shaz is falling further and further behind.
Yeah, and Saul is dying, has the burrow, Shaz is pushing.
Yeah, you just, over a long match, you cannot, when one team has this much more damage, you can see the mana pool of Shaz going down.
Tries to get the Hodge onto Tuna, but is trading a lot of health on his Shaman for that one. Here's the Totem once again, static field, not connecting with the follow-up leg sweep, but Tuna still taking massive amounts of damage. They find that Paladin, big swap, swapping the bubble in return for his life here. Tuna gets out for a moment, and Axton is looking for the Cyclone's Ring of Peace into the arms of Dorito. Great reaction here to stop the Cyclone with that ring, and Axton is still dying. Cubsy is trying to help out with damage with the miss. missiles, but it's not quite enough. Good mass route here from Axton as Shaz rolls in with the full Hodge. Elemental Blast. Saul is trying to take him down, but he gets interrupted on the lasso. Last bob from Shaz thrown into the mix. Stolen once again immediately by Cupsy, and Saul is just trying to kite away, and it's not happening. Shaz sitting in the full CC. Can they get the heals in? It would be crucial. The sag might not even be enough. Shaz is bleeding dry on mana. So is Tuna. Who can finish this game out the quickest? Cupsy has the touch of the Magi in and is doing so much damage right now. Shaz can just suffer and watch his teammates die as Axton pops the incarnation and is looking to hammer the advantage home. Dorito with the clones trying to turn the pressure around, but it's not quite enough. It's calming down, but it's only for a few seconds.
They're out of mana, though.
It's all gone.
Both paladins are out of
Soul is
mana.
in a lot of danger here. Cubsy with this missile barrage. This cleave pressure from the side of Power Toads is immense. I don't think Saul's going to be able to hold on much longer, but a beautiful ring of peace from Dorito just buys him a little bit more time. All three of them are just hiding behind the pillar, trying to survive a full hammer of justice on Shaz. I don't think Shaz is going to be able to survive this one. Somehow, some way, they're still in it, but there's just no gas left in the tank. It's looking like a double kill here for Power Toads, but they went the distance. This is a great composition for Power Toads here. Really difficult for F tier to get anything going. I mean, their only option was to really go after.
Very even until the.
And it's their only comp. Like, the one thing with F tier is they only have just this one composition. Like, the really, really good teams have different comps. They can kind of, you know, if they lose a game, they can switch out. Really, I like Dorito. I think Dorito's playing really good. I've watched a couple of matches with Dorito, and his pressure on the Windwalker has been really impressive. But I would like to have seen maybe switching out Saul with maybe I don't know, maybe like an Infliction Warlock or maybe even a Beast Mastery Hunter would have been maybe. The enhancement is nice. The enhancement does bring it. I would like to see how much healing the enhancement does, because it is. I don't know if enhancement does much healing. Let's see. 54 million. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a pretty decent amount, a pretty decent chunk. That's more than the Feral Druid. Feral Druid's only 33 million. So, but yeah, the damage. You know, the damage is just, there's just too much of a separation between the two teams.
Except for a Bob, and Axton knows that. He is closing in, he is trying to get on his throat and tear him down. Shaz is suffering so much right now. Dorito trying to play goalie here. It's only halfway working. Saul, mana less from off-feeling, keeping himself alive, and once again F tier is bleeding out across the entire team. Dorito porting, he has the touch of karma, but how long is that gonna keep him alive? Shaz gets a little bit of a heal off the burrow used from Saul. Diffuse magic traded, and F tier just bled their last bunch of defensives, really.
Yeah, I mean, they are in for
a game on Black. This knife's edge totem once again.
Oh, wait a minute, they won that game? It looked like F tier. So F tier won this game, which is amazing because they were not looking good.
And here to Tuna, he just could not get away on the smaller map. He's met with
out across the entire team. Dorito porting, he has the touch of karma, but how long is that gonna keep him alive? Shaz gets a little bit of a heal off the burrow used from Saul. Diffuse magic traded, and F tier.
I mean, right here, when you look at it, it looks like F tier is gonna lose. You know, Saul's low on health. Shaz has way less mana than Tuna. Dorito's fairly low on health. But when you look at it like this, you're thinking that F tier is gonna lose this game.
Just bled their last bunch of defensives, really.
Yeah, I mean, they are in danger. Power Toad smells blood in the water. They're pushing forward, but at the same time, they're under pressure. Tuna might have to use the Divine Shield. He doesn't have it available. Needs to get to a pillar potentially right now. Saul's low. He gets cycloned up. Axton just getting control of the game. Cyclone now on Dorito. They're going for it. They're trying to take down Saul. He leaps back, tries to duck out of line of sight and avoid damage. At the same time, though, Tuna is under fire. Maybe these constant swaps on Tuna are going to win them the game. Stun on Saul. Still in trouble. Shaz trades up the Divine Shield. He's got the sacrifice almost lay on hands as well. There are tools to survive, and it's going to be Tuna.
Tuna is getting annihilated. The announcers didn't even notice that. I'm like, Tuna's getting annihilated.
Out across the entire team. Dorito porting. He has the touch of karma, but how long is that going to keep him alive? Shaz gets a little bit of a heal off. The burrow used from Saul. Diffuse magic traded. And F tier just bled their last bunch of defensives, really.
Yeah, I mean, they are in danger. Power Toad smells blood in the water. They're pushing forward, but at the same time, they're under pressure. Tuna might have to use the Divine Shield. He doesn't have it available. Needs to get to a pillar potentially right now. Saul's low. He gets Cycloned up. Axton just getting control of the game. Cyclone now on Dorito. They're going for it. They're trying to take down Saul. He leaps back, tries to duck out of line of sight and avoid damage. At the same time, though, Tuna is under fire. Maybe these constant swaps on Tuna are going to win them the game. Stun on Saul. Still in trouble. Shaz trades up the Divine Shield. He's got the sacrifice, almost lay on hands as well. There are tools to survive, and it's going to be Tuna who could potentially fall. It's overwhelming. A beautiful Dragon's Breath Blast Wave there by Cubsy might keep him alive. The diminishing return leg sweep from Dorito onto Axton and Tuna. He just cannot get away. He's stuck. They're all over him. They're swarming him. Tuna, I think he's going to go down. They do it. F tier manages to hold on despite all those scary situations and eventually take down Tuna. I can't believe it.
Oh my god, what a nail biter. 6 minutes of running for their lives, of desperately staying alive, and ultimately they can withstand this, but for the moment Axton finds a full polymorph. Shaz sitting in the sea is a polymorph, and the opener really wrapped up for the moment. Swap onto Tuna though, down to 50%. No divine protection for another few seconds. Lightning Lasso, he trinkets out and is still somehow standing. Really scary seconds here, Van.
Yeah, definitely. Dorito and Saul trying to find a target to go after. It looks like Axton is going to be the main pressure point here. But keep in mind, it was Tuna that eventually did fall in game number 2. So I think if they can get on Tuna, that's what they want to do. But it just takes a little while. Double leg sweep coming in. Here it is. They finally find it. Hammer of Justice out of the leg sweep. Can they get the Divine Shield? It's a big amount of damage. It's getting low. And they do manage to get the Divine Shield. And they really need to make those moments count. Great push there for F tier. But now it's going to be Power Toads looking to strike back.
Yeah, massive swap. 45 seconds on the Trinket for Tuna. 4 minutes plus, obviously, on the bump.
It's really cool watching this team, this F tier, because there aren't too many people that really use the Windwalker Monk that much, and hardly nobody uses Enhancement Shaman. So you've got two characters, two specs that really aren't seen that much, and they're on the same team, so it's really unusual. Saul's the only Enhancement Shaman I think I saw in the entire Arena World Championships. And Dorito, I've been really impressed with Dorito's play. He plays really well.
But Divine Protection and Lay on Hands are ready, so he has some defensive abilities in his toolkit. Saul and Dorito still just trying to run him down. Nice defensive hodge here from Tuna to get away from the Monk. Some flashes of light to keep himself topped off. And Chaz, he is pushing in. He's looking for an opportunity. Full hodge onto Tuna. This could be game over. Divine Protection already invested. The Lay on Hands is still ready, but he is just pumping through it with the flames. It's enough for a moment, but is it ultimately gonna be enough to keep him alive and this game going? It doesn't quite look like it, but for the moment Cubsy is there with the peels. Dorito has the CDs running, is trying to catch up as Shaz trades the sack to keep his team on the offensive, and Tuna just waddling away and doing good for himself right now.
Yeah, but he gets clotheslined. Leg sweep coming in. Can Saul connect? Do they have the damage to follow it up? Hammer of Justice lands. Tuna could easily fall. He's greeting it just a little bit right now. He's trying to escape, but I don't think he has a Blessing of Freedom. He's on the Divine Steed. Not even going to be used. The Divine Protection. Definitely greedy plays, but it pays off. He tops off. He's escaping. And Doritos just getting spam polymorph by Cubsy. Great defensive plays there by Cubsy, allowing Tuna to make that greedy play. And that's the thing, if they don't cross Axton and Cubsy when going after Tuna, they're going to be met with Cyclone. They're going to be met with polymorph. And now Shaz is in a polymorph and Saul's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the Hodge is already out and Saul is taking damage. No defensives left in the tank. He's really all reliant on Shaz. He has a trinket available, but sitting in his Cyclone does decide to just sit that out as Saul is kiting away, healing himself. The Dwarf Racial used up in this situation just to keep himself a little bit safer. Shaz down to half, tops himself off with a good chunk of heals here. But Cubsy sitting in root, everyone just scrambling, trying to reposition. And double leg sweep hits Tuna once again. The swap over onto the Power Toads Paladin is working once more. Saul has the defensive totem once again ready. Overall, defensive-wise, they are living 1 second on the burrow. Shaz in the full polymorph. Tuna and the team are pushing. Saul needs to trade the burrow. F tier bleeding. Defensives left, right, and center. Once again, 2 minutes is what it took on top of this on hook point to win the game. And Saul is just suffering right now. Astra shift. No heals from Shaz. Somehow he gets a little bit in. Lay on Hands is on cooldown. Sack ready. Bob ready. Decides to not use it. The push. The swap. The turnaround onto Tuna with the Hodge, but the Divine Protection and the Wings are more than enough to stabilize the game. And once again, we find ourselves in a stalemate.
Yeah, it looks like Shaz is way ahead on mana in this game, though. So once again, F tier, that slow and steady strategy, it might end up paying off. If they can just keep living and doing damage, keep living and doing damage. It's a slow moving object, that wall that inevitably will crush you. That is their strategy. Let's see if they can keep it up. They have to hold on longer. It's not an easy thing to do. It looks like they will be swapping over onto Tuna right now. Saul and Dorito are trying to get uptime. The full Hammer of Justice lands, but at the same time, a massive barrage of damage from Cubsy could end the game, and Saul gets absolutely crushed. They didn't have the time they needed. Power Toads leveling up and going up in this series 2-1.
Really good play here from the Power Toads, abusing the fact that
the Hammer of Justice lands, and Tuna completely deflects that attack with his Divine Protection. I mean, he's taking basically no damage. Now it's Saul that's just getting absolutely one-shot. That's a lay on hands. Shaz needs that emergency healing and does manage to top off Saul. They need to get some pressure rolling, but it is not easy. It seems like Power Toads is getting more and more comfortable in this matchup.
And they keep swapping targets, sometimes to Axton, sometimes to Cubsy, but they never really manage to force anything. Now maybe with the Zuen, they're on the cat with the big tiger. Let's see which one is the bigger one. But for the moment, it just doesn't go anywhere. Saul gets stunned up with the rake. Axton goes for the full cyclone, finds Shaz, and now Saul is in dire straits. Needs to pop the Astra shift and burrow out. 30 seconds on the stone bulwark, and maybe that's enough to keep him alive as he tops himself off Shaz with some big heals as well, but it's not quite enough to keep him rolling. The swap over onto Dorito cost them half HP. The struggle continues for F tier. They managed to stay alive. Leg sweep actually finding Axton out of form, and Cubsy stealing that Bob. The Barkskin traded out. Power Toads respecting the damage very much so, but they're not really falling behind right now.
Oh, definitely not. Saul taking a missile barrage once again, but it looks like Shaz is in position. Counter bash here by Axton, looking for the full cyclone. Can he land? I think he grounds it. Nicely done there by Saul. He gets a grounding totem off and frees Shaz from that crowd control. Really good backup there. That could have been the end of the game if he didn't manage to find or release the Divine Shield. Cubsy's still just raining arcane magic devastation against this team. Here's the touch of the Magi onto Saul. Big barrages, big missiles coming in. Can he get the arcane blast? Doesn't look like Shaz is in any crowd control, so it's just damage. They're just killing him with outright pressure right now. Shaz just cannot heal through the pressure. Axton and Cubsy are just absolutely ripping in. Shaz is forced to use the Divine Shield immediately. Saul gets interrupted. This is not looking good for F tier.
No, Stone Bulwark Totem is gone as well. Dorito finding another leg sweep. They're trying to bring in some pressure, but it's only on Tuna and no real follow-up. The Hodge from Shaz is in as well. The healers are bleeding mana on both sides, yes, but how long can FT hold on? That has been the question the entire series. And somehow they are still holding in there. Maim stun, no Astra Shift traded out yet as Shaz trades it with the Blasting of Sacrifice. Now Dorito maybe. Big CDs popped in. The clones and the Tiger trying to run down the Paladin all by himself, soloing Tuna basically behind that pillar. Cubsy is trying to peel for his healer. Doesn't quite find the Polymorph. Finally locking down Dorito, but Shaz is already there with the Hodge and is trying to really put the pressure to Tuna. Has the bubble available? Will he need to use it? Touch of Death Range bubbles it off, and Dorito walks away for a moment. Immediate swap over to Axton. Saw the target, but with the Astra Shift, he should be fine for the moment. Shaz gets hodged up, but can stabilize his Shaman. And F tier making some big steps in the late game.
Yeah, definitely. Getting that Divine Shield from Tuna is massive, but he still has his Trinket. He still has the Divine Protection. Saul's going to preemptively burrow here just to avoid some incoming damage. He wants to play on this room. He does not want to chase around the Arcane Mage in the open. Gets a moment to breathe. Dorito just going for it, just going after Tuna, trying to solo him right now, trading out the Touch of Karma, so they might have to start pressuring Dorito if Saul's going to play so passively in the match. Axton lands the full Cyclone. Can they find the Polymorph? Cubsy unable to find it on Shaz. He switches it over onto Dorito. Ring of Fire gets dropped down, and Saul could be in trouble. A full Soul Hammer of Justice lands. Axton making the push, but he doesn't want to commit to going into the room. And at the same time, you're seeing Tuna just getting soloed by Dorito. Dorito doing everything he can to keep his team in the fight, get some aggression here in the match. He gets the double leg sweep, and this is Saul's moment to push forward. This is the moment they need to take him down, but at the same time, Dorito gets caught into the sun. Blessing of Protection trades. Jazz doing what he can to keep his team in the fight. He's got the Blessing of Sacrifice. If he needs it, he might have to deflect this attack onto Saul, but Saul just playing it really, really patiently, just using the pillar to line of sight. Chaz really desperately wants to get off that Tears Deliverance, but unfortunately he's unable to do so, and he just does not have healing. Power Toes is looking like they are going to close out this series. Chaz is going to need an absolute miracle at this point. Sacrifice trades onto Saul. He trades out every defensive cooldown. That's the Astral Shift. That's the Stone Bulwark Totem, and now they're trying to take down Axton. The last-ditch attempt. F-Tier has one more moment where they could potentially win this game, but I think Tuna has blocked it with the sacrifice.
If they can get onto Tuna, that would be massive. One more clone set available for Dorito here. Saul just trying to kite away, self-healing himself with the healing surges, but it's not quite enough. Another Axton coming in. Axton just really putting the pedal to the metal. They want to bleed everyone out. All three members of F-Tier, all so close to death, and there it is. Power Toads bleed them out and send them home for the weekend.
We're going to be all.
So yeah, so pretty cool. Some good Arena World Championships matches. I'm going to bed, guys. Hope you guys are having a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow.